The St. Louis Cardinals have hit a brutal stretch, which easily leads to roster moves that we have moving forward. Last time I made a video on the St. Louis Cardinals was before they hit all their games against their divisional opponents. They came out not doing so hot. I believe when I went back and checked, they had a record of about five like 5-7, I believe, which is definitely not a good way to go out. Against the Pirates, they were 1-2, so they lost that series, and we talked about that a little bit last time. Um, Against the Reds, they did split because one game did get rained out. So right there, they're 2-3. Against the Brewers, they did not win a single game. They went 2-6 there. So they finished out in the Cubs series 2-1. So their final record came out to be 4-7, not 5-7. Could have had a chance of being 5-7 if they didn't miss out on the one game against the Reds, but I believe that game is going to be made up in July. Here coming up soon. I know the Cardinals are currently versing the Reds right now. I don't know if there's another series that they might be versing off in the future, but we'll see. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but after that, they instantly went ahead and moved people up and down the roster. Caesar and Thomas Jay-Z got moved down because they've had very rough stretches. Jose Fermin and Victor Scott are still on the team, as well as Pedro Pajes, and Pozo as well. All these guys are having really bad stretches and not playing up to par. This led to the acquisitions of moving up of Jimmy Crooks and Nelson Velasquez, who I'm very high on both of them, especially Nelson Velasquez, a guy that came out in spring training and absolutely raked. Compared to his time in AAA that he had after spring training, it definitely wasn't as dominant. I was really hoping he would have came into AAA and kind of continued that spree of what he was doing during spring training. In spring training, he was able to hit 333 with a 1.102 OPS across 46 plate appearances. He also led the team during spring training with 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 13 hits, and 8 runs scored while only striking out 3 times, which is really the big difference. Nelson Velasquez, if you know anything about him, his career has always been hit or miss, mainly because of his habit of striking out, which it's kind of funny because we're kind of used to a couple players being like that, aka last year Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, which to this day is still an issue. Nolan Gorman is leading the team in strikeouts with Jordan Walker not too far behind, but Jordan Walker is obviously having a really great season besides the strikeouts. So we can kind of get past that a little bit. Jordan Walker still needs to do better in strikeouts. I think I've talked about that several times. But Nolan Gorman, I mean, at this point, he's not doing well either. You're kind of pretty much out on him at this point. There's just really no value to him at this point, what he's giving to the team, unless you're looking for a quick power hitter to bring off the bench, but he's not looking too good, fielding wise or hitting wise. And you definitely pay him to hit, not even be a fielder, so just keep that in mind. But Nelson Velasquez, after spring training, I thought he would be one of the last guys to get a roster spot. Jose Fermin was on the MLB roster, who did very poorly during spring training, is continuing that effort so far. But moving past spring training, Nelson Velasquez played in AAA. He did pretty decent. It's kind of weird because I don't even know if he really deserved to be move up to the MLB with the way that he played in AAA. He was decent in AAA after his performance in spring training, but I kind of wish they would have brought him up after spring training personally, because he was super hot. But it looks like either way, it was worth it, um, because here in AAA, he was batting about 232, if I'm correct on that. Yeah, he's batting about 232, 764 OPS. So, I mean, pretty decent. My issue is his strikeouts did go back up. He had 48 strikeouts, which is pretty dang high, but had 7 home runs and 22 RBIs, which is pretty decent. He definitely got called up for the fact that he has the potential to still be a really good hitter. It's really just mainly the strikeouts, and I do think he can be a better hitter than Nolan Gorman. The main factor is, with adding him and then Jimmy Crooks, who, if you know about Jimmy Crooks, he's been amazing in AAA this year. 13 home runs, 29 RBIs, batting average is 262, but also has an OPS of 980. Very decent defense as well. Typically, league average is usually what he has in like caught stealing percentage, stuff like that. Jimmy Crooks, easy way to tell you, he's kind of like the best of both worlds kind of player. By best of both worlds, I mean he's decent at hitting and catching, which is kind of nice because we have Herrera, who's just really good at hitting but bad at catching. And then Pajes is actually really good at catching, but not as good as a hitter. Um, and that's why we're kind of keeping both of them on the roster here, and Pajes, as the better defensive catcher if needed. But Jimmy Crooks is kind of like the bridge of both of those, what it looks like to have actually a pretty decent hitter while also actually having a guy who is also decent at defense as well. Um, and so far in the MLB, he's doing pretty decent. His catching actually looks pretty good. And he's batting 250 right now, 690 OPS. So nothing too crazy, but decent enough to get the job done. No home runs, but 2 RBIs, 3 hits, and 12 at bats, 14 plate appearances. So it's only a 4 game stretch. I'm more interested to see how time goes on. Um, Obviously, with the catchers that they have, they're switching them in and out, seeing what works best. But this is a very creative lineup because with how they have Nelson Velasquez and Jimmy Crooks, they're definitely able to switch a lot of pieces in and out for sure. Especially with Nathan Church being out still currently, and then Lars Nootbaar is coming back very, very soon. Um, Probably by the time I upload this video, he'll probably be out by that on the field. So that'll be really nice to see. Hopefully, Lars Nootbaar can be really good to the point where um, we don't have to trade him, because I know there's been talks too where it's like we might have to use Lars Nootbaar as a trade asset. Um, and hopefully he's good enough to where we don't have to do that. But I know for a fact at the end of the day, if we're going to have to fix this pitching rotation, someone's definitely going to have to get traded at some point. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, if Jimmy Crooks pans out, Pedro Pajes could definitely be a trade piece for sure, because there are definitely always teams that need a good catcher. So hopefully that might pan out. Maybe we can get something for Nolan Gorman. I don't know if we would get a lot, but we really need to do something about the pitching rotation. But yeah, I think adding Jimmy Crooks and Nelson Velasquez are great additions. You add a decent at bat and Nelson Velasquez, who's a really good power hitter. Maybe not really good, but good enough. Adding those two guys is really needed, especially like what we've seen through the roster itself, through the at bats. I mean, when you watch the Cardinals, it really is this simple where it's like the batters 1 through 4 are like the best 1 through 4 in the National League. And then we have the worst 5 to 9 hitters. I mean, JJ Weatherholt, Alec Burleson, Ivan Herrera, Jordan Walker, amazing They are definitely the best hitters on the team. But then once we get to the point where like we have Mason Wynn, who's been okay, but not as good as you would want, um, especially for what talent he brings to the table. Um, but he's just been pretty mid, pretty decent. He's all right. Nathan Church has been very nice to see, but he's been out, and even before he went out, he was kind of having just a little bit of a rougher stretch. But man, once you get past, Mason Wynn and Nathan Church, who have been okay, um, really big drop off. You have Ramon, who war wise, is the next best. And he's hitting 158, which is crazy, and that's why you shouldn't always go by war. And then Brian Torres just got called up recently. He's batting 219. Gorman 202, Pozo 242, but he can't catch for anything, so he's really just a pinch hitter. Even with a 242 though batting average, his OPS is horrible. It's 515. Pod has He had a decent stretch for a little bit in the beginning of the season, but he's now down to a 216 average, 612 OPS. Fermin had like a couple games that were nice, back down to a 224 batting average, 663. Victor Scott is practically unplayable. I mean, the only reason this dude gets playing time is literally because of his defense. Um, it's really bad. I mean, it's gonna take a miracle for him to even get to a point where he's even above a 1 WAR. So we'll see how that goes. But once Lars Newbar comes back, I mean, there's definitely a scenario where Nathan Church might play center field and take over for Victor Scott for sure. Um, I think Victor Scott's probably not going to last much longer on the starting rotation here. Um, I'm predicting we're probably going to have like Jordan Walker, JJ Weatherholt, Herrera's still going to be there, Burleson, Mason Wynn, Nathan Church, obviously Jimmy Crooks, and Ivan Herrera will probably switching it out. If Pajes is still here, he might as well. Lars Newbar, he's probably going to be the starting left fielder. Nathan Church center field. Jordan Walker's going to be right field. Nelson Velasquez, he actually plays really good at right field, so maybe he takes over for Jordan Walker when Jordan Walker needs a day off. He's mainly going to be DHing and pinch hitting, though, for sure, which is really needed. He's looking like a really good spark plug to throw in if we need him. So having that tool is really nice. And then third base, I guess, is still going to be Gorman, but man, Gorman is just having a really bad stretch. I would really hope Brian Torres can maybe pick it back up a little bit, but I mean, we'll have to see. If I would maybe even make the argument if Brian Torres starts picking it back up, I would put him over Gorman in the lineup, but we'll see as time goes on, because I mean, at this point, the clock is ticking for Nolan Gorman for sure. But that's all I got for today, guys. If you guys have any comments on the recent transactions of moving Jimmy Crooks up and Nelson Velasquez to the starting lineup, yeah, just leave your comments in the comments below. It's a really interesting, and people have been speculating that Jimmy Crooks was going to get the call up. I didn't know Nelson Velasquez was also going to join him in that, but I'm really glad he got the shot too, because seriously, it's really just the strikeouts to me. And if he's able to get that figured out, he can be a really good weapon for us, whether that's DHing, pitch hitting. Any of those would be really nice at this point. And then, yeah, moving from there, hopefully we can figure out the pitching by the time we get to the trade deadline. But yeah, guys, just let me know, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.